If I get to know your name,
Hey,
well then
hello everyone, welcome to Motorhome Beat Beat. My name is Alan and I'm in Kensal Green Cemetery and Crematorium, that's behind me, to find the final resting place of a very outrageous man with a very outrageous story really. It's Pete Burns, and I actually didn't really know his career that well until he went into the Big Brother house in 2006, and he was Big Brother 2006 really. You know, he caused so much controversy that yeah, he took over the show. He was a big, larger than life character that looked extremely strange, but are we going to find his final resting place? But the thing is that while I've been researching him, I found out everybody has nothing but nice things to say about him. He had a tongue that could kill people at 30 meters, but behind that there was a really beautiful guy, you know, a really heart of gold. Look at this. I love these trees, don't you? It's like a little passageway through of nature. And Pete Burns, if you can hear me over the train in the distance, he was a very popular artist, and what he started out in is a record shop called Probe Records, and even then he was quite bolshy. He got often told off for if the records that the people bought he did not like, he used to throw them at them. So even then, before he was well known, he was quite a acidy sort of character, you know. That was just him. Anyway, he left that job, which is not surprising, is it really? He started off in 1980 with a group, and the group was called the Mystery Girls, and they only did one gig. I think it was supporting Sham 69, so it wasn't a long stint with that group. And so in 1980 he started a group called Nightmare in Wax. Then they formed a new group. Now they were looking for a name for the new group, and one of the group members came up with Wanted, Dead or Alive, and Pete said that's too long, you know, it's not going to work. So he said, well, okay, Dead or Alive. At that moment Pete said, wow, fantastic, that's it, love it. And that was the group from there on, Dead or Alive. And of course the biggest single was You Spin Me Round and Round. Everybody's heard that one. It was a massive hit. And then in 1980, the same year, I met a girl called Lynn Collette in an hair salon in Liverpool. Yeah, and they got married. So, you know, it wasn't quite the Pete Burns we think of later on, but we'll get into that. I'm looking for a particular garden here. This is where all the ashes are. So I am close. He stayed in that marriage for a long time, till 2006. And then they actually got divorced. And he met a man called Michael Simpson. His sexuality was always in question because he'd had so much cosmetic surgery. He looked really weird. And so a lot of people question his sex, but he said, he made a statement. He said, they say I'm a gay, I'm a bi, and he said, no, I'm not. I'm something else. I'm only Peter. He didn't like the idea of being categorised into a certain type of sex. So I think he could go whichever way he wanted, really, you know. And fair enough, that's okay. What really caused his problem was the cosmetic surgery. He had cheek implants, he had lip injections, and the lip injections are what really did it, because he went to see a guy called the Lip King of London, and this guy was using a solution called Evolution, the solution. And one day he said to Peter, we've run out. He said, I've got something similar. Anyway, he used it, and it was an absolute disaster. His lips ballooned up. There was literally pus coming out of his lips everywhere. His face was on fire. He was singing with the Scissor Sisters one night. That was the first time he felt it. The face got hot, and then whang, it just went terrible. His lips were oozing this terrible pus. He said it was shooting 5 or 6 feet, you know, from his lips. And he went to see another surgeon, and he said, you could end up losing your lips here, you know. They contemplated removing his lips. Can you imagine that? Anyway, he found a surgeon in Geneva, Italy, and this guy said, I can help you, I can do it. So they flew over there for 3 months, which turned out to be 2 years in the end. And he almost died a few times during the many operations that he had. So it was around this time that he actually stopped the civil partnership with Michael, and the money he spent on all his operations were unbelievable. So that is why he came back into the public eye. He did Big Brother in 2006. That's how I first saw him, actually. I mean, I knew the single, but I'd never really seen him before. And he needed the money. That's it. He said it on the interviews after the show. I'm here, the Callard Garden. That is where he is. We're here at last. Wonderful. Big Brother 2006 was the Pete Burns show. He was the one that dominated all the stuff on that. There was arguments, there was fun. He was such a witty guy with such an acid tongue, and he fell out with Jodie Marsh, and he was always bickering with Jodie Marsh. So that was really the Pete Burns show that year.
I think of myself totally as a man.
Don't touch my
I ain't no fairy. I would be in agony to stand for more than 3 minutes in those clogs. I do everything in heels.
Who cannot forget Rula Lenska and Galloway doing the cat scene? Everybody went on about that as well. It was really funny, where Galloway was in a leotard and she was pretending to feed him milk. Got quite a lot of publicity, did that one. In 2007, he sued the cosmetic company for $1 million. Sounds a lot of money, but it's not when you think about it. He'd gone through years of pain. He nearly died a few times, so he deserved that, really. He accused Boy George of trying to appropriate his image. Boy George thought that was funny. I've seen him say it on interviews. Boy George would laugh at that, wouldn't he, really? They're both quite unique people when you look at them. And what really caused him to die at such a young age was the surgery, because he'd had so many operations, and then after treatment, it kind of weakened his body, and he had embolisms in his body. And one of those went to his heart, and that caused a massive heart attack that killed him. It's such a shame, because probably he would have lived a lot longer if he hadn't had all that surgery. I just can't understand it. I mean, he wanted it. He really did. He once said, I want, when I get to heaven, for God not to be able to recognise me. He put a word in there which I won't use, but I think we can all guess what it was. But he got there too early because of that, which is a terrible shame, isn't it? It's another tragic one. We've had a few recently, but it is another tragic one. It really is. Never mind. The relationship with Lynn lasted a long time, till 2006, and then he did actually split up. People questioned his sexuality because of the way he looked, but he said, I am not bi, I am not gay, I am just Peter. He didn't like the idea of being categorised, and that's how he put it. But of course, in reality, I think he actually said, I'm proud to be a man. So, I mean, he did look strange, but fundamentally he didn't want to be, he didn't want to change himself into a woman. That was not the case. So why he wanted to look the way he did, I don't know, but there we go. That was Peter. Peter Giuseppe Burns was born on the 5th of August 1959 in Port Sunlight, Cheshire. He had an older brother named Tony, born in 1948. Although the two scarcely saw each other, they got on very well and liked listening to records together. Like Burns, Tony was an aspiring pop star. Burns' mother, Evelyn Marie Bettina Quiltner von Hudeck, was German-born and, according to Burns' autobiography, freak unique. Her first marriage was to a German, as her father was Jewish. She moved to Vienna to escape the Nazis. At a tea dance in Vienna, she met an English soldier from Liverpool named Franz Burns. Evelyn was 46 years old when she gave birth to Burns. He later wrote of his childhood in his autobiography, in which he described his mother's alcoholism and suicide attempts, but maintains that she was absolutely the best mother in the world. Burns spoke German until he was 5, which resulted in local children spending days outside his house shouting Heil Hitler. According to Burns, school was almost non-existent, and his mother frequently kept him away so he could spend a day with her. He dropped out of school at the age of 14 after becoming summoned to the headmaster's office because he had arrived at school with no eyebrows, Harmony red hair and one gigantic earring. At around this age he was raped by a man who took him for a drive. He later recalled that he was not upset by the experience, although he knew that people would expect him to be. He stated that he already knew the man who drove him to Rab Marie and threatened him with an air gun. Burns died in London following a sudden cardiac arrest on the 23rd of October 2016 at the age of 57. People who paid tribute to him after his death included Boy George, who described Burns as one of the greatest true eccentrics, and the former MP George Galloway, who had appeared with him in Celebrity Big Brother, and said Burns was a cross between Oscar Wilde and Dorothy Parker. You don't get more brilliant than that. On the 29th of October, the opening celebrity dance routine for BBC's Strictly Come Dancing was performed to Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Round and Round Like a Record. Boy George paid for the costs of Burns' funeral, despite the two artists' rivalry during their parallel music careers. Pete Waterman had nothing but good things to say about him. Of course, he was part of the Stockacre and Waterman trio that wrote a lot of the music for them, that were very prolific at that time. Right, we're in the gardens now, so I'm gonna spin round because it's not a big area, and I like to my phone's pinging. I wish it had stopped. I like to find the actual spot where the ashes are interred. I know it's got a star, and it's a little rockery because I've seen the picture, and I know the river is there, so we're close. There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever. So look out for a small star and a little round rockery, and if you see it, give me a shout, because that's it. Somebody's put some milk behind that one. That's weird, isn't it? It's quite noisy here with the trains, actually. Oh look, there's the barges at the bottom. Yeah, just a bit noisy with the trains. So, yep, this is looking good. I can't believe that. I had my back to it all the time. Oh yeah, there we are. Here we go, everybody, this is it. There we are, lovely. Nice little rockery as well, isn't it? Let's move in and have a look. Here we go. Oh, it's got a leopard there. Peter Burns, 5th of the 8th, 59 to the 23rd of the 10th, 16. Our special star, always loved. Peter, I loved you in Big Brother. You had me absolutely in stitches. Loved you. You were always very often right. You were very often right with what you said, and you put it in a very direct way. It was amazingly funny sometimes. I loved your tongue. It was amazing. You were a star of the show. Bye, Peter, for all the wonderful music and the humour. Peter Waterman said about him that if a guy had 2% of his character, there'd be a star. But you know what? There's one thing I've learned as I've got a little bit older. People don't care how you look. They're concerned with their own lives and how they look themselves. They don't really notice you, it's true. When young people especially think about the looks, they worry. And it's not necessary, it really isn't. Health is wealth, and if you can just be yourself, grow old gracefully as you do, people will love you. Radiate your own character, they'll love you for you. That's what really counts, honestly. And look after yourself, that's what really matters, your health. At the end of the day, you know, I was doing a job for a lady, and I was putting up a light fitting, and she was Chinese. There was actually an earthquake in China that day and people were dying, and she went on about this thing, making a big deal out of nothing. And I said to her, you are so selfish. If you had a spot on your nose, you'd be more worried about that spot than all those people dying in your own country. And she said immediately, I'm sorry, you're right. She shouldn't have saw how she was acting. So yeah, just be yourself and enjoy your life. That's what really matters. So that's me done for today. I'm going to say, don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so you don't miss any. I love to see you all, and I want you to see the films. And a thumbs up and a comment would be great. It's great to speak with you all. So I'll see you. Bye bye from Motorhome Beep Beep and me, Alan.